Hi guys, I'm a little bit late today and I don't have Toby with me. We came out, but then Toby wanted to go back home. He dug in, decided it was too hot, so he went back home. Mind you, he had a 10-mile walk this morning. And I was thinking what to do. Now, Toby's gone back home. We could go on the normal walk, I thought. And then I thought, well, I did promise everybody we'd go on the railway track, the Withernsea Hull railway track. So I think that's what we'll do. Anyhow, enough of me. I agree. It is really warm. That's what we're looking at. This is the cop shop, the police station. Apparently they're going to be pulling it down and building houses on it. Plus the car park at the back. They're supposed to be building houses on that as well. And possibly some of the car park here for the leisure centre. So it's looking interesting. So what we're going to be doing today then? We're going to go down the railway track, the old Hull Withernsea railway track. It was built in the 1840s and 50s, and it was closed as part of Dr. Beeching's cuts in the mid-1960s. The last time trains ran on this, I think, was possibly 1963, 64. Hello. Hello, girl. You're a good girl, aren't you? Oh, yeah.
That's daughter and that's mum.
Can we have a treat?
No, they're on a hyperallergenic diet.
No, that's fair enough.
Pain in the mouth.
Well,
Got allergies. And we're trying to keep more fries, beef and chicken. And of course, everything's got fries.
Beef and chicken.
Yeah, they're a pain.
It's one of them things, isn't it, though?
It's allergic to, I think.
Could be.
Other sensitive to everything.
I always ask before I give
Yeah,
the
it might not
kitten.
even be that, but we've got to try.
You got to do everything. No, you got to do. No, absolutely. You got to do everything you
So
can.
we're going to try, and for a health, we're getting a bit fat though.
you got to do everything you can. haven't you? Yeah, see you, mate. You take care. Yeah. Hi, Edward. How are you? Hiya, Dave. Good afternoon. Good to see you back. It's a lovely warm day here, Guy. Happy Friday to you, Jordan. Today, I'm minus Toby. He decided after going out, after about 5 minutes, he dug in and decided he wanted to go home. It's too hot for him. Even though I brought a bottle of water out and a dish, collapsible dish for him. So Toby's at home and I'm here on my own. Wow. Well, here we are. Here we are then. We're at the start. Yeah. It's like a play park the other side of it. You've seen that before. Here's some of the birds we got. We got the yellow hammer, the corn bunting, the linnet, all sorts of things. There's your park. There's a lot of good things in it for kids. You've got swings, you've got climbing frames, tables and things in the shade for parents to sit at while they supervise the kids. It's all really good, I think. The station was further down where Aldi is. Or just before Aldi, where the police station is. The station was originally behind that. There's a little bit of a platform left, just a bit. But this is actually the track. We're now on the actual railway track. So if you can imagine kids from the city of Hull with grandma and granddad and mum and dad having a day at the seaside. In them days, Withernsea were quite popular. And it was only a short train journey away. You know, so you have a lot of excited kids. The train full of them. Driving grandparents and parents nuts. It'd have been good though, wouldn't it? And all looking forward to that day at the seaside. You know, because Withernsea became a fishing port. Well, not a port, but you know, fishing became one of the industries here. Another one was tourism. Trains brought people from the coast. In the 1850s and 1860s, trains were still pretty new. I've got some kiddie winks, so I'm just moving my camera. All right, kids.
You're on TikTok Live?
I'm not on TikTok Live, and I don't have kids on it anyhow. It's just some friends of mine, and we're just chatting. All right. Happy Friday to you too, Joe. Children, happy Friday. You talk about being chaotic, Edward, at Tesco's. I went to Matalan in Hull. Talk about chaos. You couldn't move in there. I wanted some more trousers and a few bits. So I'm stood there in this huge, I got the bits I wanted. And I thought, I've got some trousers, I need to try them on. Anyhow, I stood there and I waited and I waited. Apparently, we've only got 5 changing rooms now, and it's unisex. Oh God. And I just paid for my stuff and came home. Well, that has made my day late, if you know what I mean. Hi Zach, are you all right? Hi Jack. Well, so this would have been the railway line. around for more than 100 years, 1840s until the 1960s. Sadly, you can't walk it to Hull. You can walk it for about 3.5 miles down here, and then you can't go any further. The undergrowth just kills you. You just can't get through it. I've tried. I am hoping you can get back onto it further down, and I'm hoping to go and do that, to walk that probably in 2 sections into Hull. I actually did it with I actually walked from Preston into Hull last year. I did that with my camcorder. So, but I intend doing it on here. Redo that. Morning Sam. You went to Farm Foods. Morning Ralph. Morning Vinny. I haven't been there for, God, must be 30, well no, it's over 30 years. Yeah, it would have been about 30 years last time I went to Farm Foods. We have something called Heron, which is a bit like Farm Foods. I go in there now and again to get milk, bread, bits and pieces like that. But my brother-in-law, I know he goes to Farm Foods a lot. He's always moaning about it, and I think, well, if it's as bad as that, why go? Yeah, how do you feel today, Vinny? Have you got your results back yet? And Dave, how did it go on Shell Island? How did it go? Was it good? Did you have a good time? Did you enjoy it? What, Farm Foods? That's what your Uncle Peter says, Nicola. I don't know why he goes. I think the last time we went was when I don't know, I think it would have been when we lived in Burnley. I think at the time it was on the bus station. I can't remember now. How are you today anyway? I've not got the Toblerone with me. Took him out and he dug in, decided he weren't going, so I had to take him home. Well, so this is the old railway line then. Like I said, you just immerse yourself in it. Cast your mind back to the 1960s. BR Mark 1. Diesel multiple unit. With driver and conductor making its way from Withernsea all the way back to Hull and the thing would have been absolutely rammed out with families all coming to Withernsea for a day out. It's the sort of stuff I read about. If Bobby's about, I'm sure she'd love this. Look at that over there. I'm thinking of getting a zoom lens for this. I've seen them on Amazon. I don't know whether they're any good or not. But I think it'd be good. You know, to use it now and again. I think it could be really good. Now we've got a tractor ahead of us, I can see it. It won't be coming this far. Walking down here very much reminds me of when I were a kid. At a school called Farney Close in Sussex. It was a boarding school. Let's just say nice kids from cotton wool families didn't end up at Farney Close. But walking down here, it would have been very flat, because it was very flat in Sussex where the school was. And it just sometimes just casts my mind back. And it reminds me of those days. Oh, it's been down here before, Jack. Where are we going? We'll be following the railway line, Nicola, as far as we can. It's the old railway line from Withernsea into Hull. We can go about 3 miles or something like that, and then you can't get past the undergrowth. But I'm going to walk it one day from Winstead over to probably Heddon, and then I'll do it from Heddon to Hull. So that should be good. I know he don't. I'm sure he'd have found a rabbit to chase. I know. No, I'm not on the South Downs. Oh, my school was very, very close to the Downs, so we used to walk over Devil's Dyke. So yeah, we're in East Yorkshire, the Muffin Lord. But yeah, I love the South Downs. I think if I'd have had loads and loads of money, I'd have been quite happy buying a house over on the Downs. Somewhere like Lewis. It's a lovely place. You're right there, Jack. I would have thought he'd have been up for it, but he came out this morning. He walked over 10 mile. We went to, not just to Holland, you know, where we normally go. We went further on. We went to Humpton on the beach. Like a 10 mile, just over 10 mile return trip. And he were fine with it, he were good with it. I had water and had his dog bowl. And we kept stopping now and again, appropriately. So he could have a drink of water and he were great. But this afternoon he just decided, enough's as good as a feast. So I had to take him home. But I'm a bit late in coming out anyway. I went into Hull. I wanted a few pairs of trousers. And got quite, doing well. Went to this sale at a place called Bathurst. That was absolutely rammed though. It was absolutely crawling with people. See, the line widens here for a while. This, back in the day when it was being used, would have been a crossing road. Because it would only been single tracked between Withernsea and Hull, but there would have been passing places on the railway line, and this is one of them. So of course the train gets so far, it'll stop. While the other train comes through. So there have been several of these stopping places. This is one of them. Just look at that sky. Yeah. Here I am. No jumper, no coat. Look at that. So East Yorkshire, we have a beautiful coastline. One of the nicest, I think. We also have just absolutely gorgeous countryside. Very rich for countryside, it's very rich. Good agricultural land. When you live in the Pennines, the land's poor, it's okay for growing grass and feeding livestock, but it's no good for growing crops. East Yorkshire is one of the gardens, the great gardens of England, like Kent. Yeah, enjoy your tea, Nicola. Catch you later. Yeah, I were late. I know Billingshurst. I know it very well. Been there loads of times. Back in the 60s, I can remember going to the market there, cattle market. Have you ever been to Bolney? That's where my school was. On the crossroads between the A272 and the A23 London Brighton Road. Yeah, enjoy your tea, Nicola. See, in a few minutes the track will start closing in back to a single track width again. offering him treats was an absolute and total waste of time. What a little swine. It's absolutely glorious here. On the up-old phone, it nearly ran out. I've managed to get it charged up to just above 50%, but I dare get it out of my pocket. I'm going to have to take a picture though. Got a photograph for us, so at least something that'll do for the icon. Yeah, I did. Around about 25,000, I think 25,000 steps this morning. So that might explain why Sir Toby, the valiant one, at night on the kitchen table, decided he weren't going out. So you just passed here now, we'll be back on a single track. Well, I've done 14.25 miles so far. It's pretty empty, this drain at the moment. But you can imagine when it rains a lot in winter, you can imagine what that would look like. How deep it is. We used to have goods trains as well, coming and going from Withernsea. Fish, lobsters, and things like that which they'd caught, which had to go to market. Milk from the farms, produce. So the line, you know, in the 19th century would have been quite busy. In the early 20th century, but as more people got cars, you know, and trucks became more commonplace. And of course, the train became less popular, costs became high, you know, running it, maintaining the infrastructure and everything else. So come the 1960s, a lot of these branch lines were just closed down. Go on the internet, Google, what do you call John Benjamin, and then Benjamin, I'll spell that, BETJE, I think it's MAN, either that or MEN, I'm not sure. Now, he was a famous writer in the 40s, 50s and 60s, and he certainly had a lot to say about the beach. He had nothing good to say about it. And he had a point. I mean, a lot of them branch lines were closed down. And now, the government regrets it. Get this back in my pocket. That's it. It's not just for government to regret it, but all the train companies, people. I mean, if this line were brought back into use, I don't think it would make a profit. But there are other places. Over in Lancashire, they're talking about reopening the line from Colne to Keighley, which would make a lot of sense. It would be an alternative route, an alternative Trans-Pennine route, and anybody that goes across the Pennines from Manchester to Leeds will know just how difficult that can be. It is too congested, that line. So if you had a line between Lancashire and Yorkshire, going from Preston through Blackburn, Burnley, Nelson, Colne, Keighley, down into Bradford, and then Leeds, that would take a lot of pressure off the main line that you've got at the moment going through Huddersfield. Whether they open it again, I don't know, but there's a lot of pressure for it to reopen. One of the cuts at that time was a pointless cut. They took away the points at top of it, which allowed trains to go to Burnley, Blackburn and Preston. The lines were there, but not the points. Anyhow, the one good thing the coalition did in 2010, they put the points back. So now it's good. Burnley has a direct connection with Manchester, which helps students, workers, job seekers. It's good for everybody. Just jump on the Manchester within 45 minutes. Yeah, of course there was a coach service for the bus service, but I can tell you from experience, you're talking an hour and a half on a good day. You get near Christmas. So yeah. demonstration here at some time. I don't know. I mean, all this stuff's been here as long as I can remember. In fact, there's not as much there now as it used to be. First time I came down here, I nearly jumped out of the skin. I had a big dog. It just appeared from nowhere. That's right, Dee, there are too many cars around. People not using them. Yeah, I saw the you got a sugar cane. Wow. Amazing that. Oh, I got home that when I told them what had happened. To get into Hull were really difficult this morning. Well, we thought you were going to do it, didn't we? We thought you were going to go to this. That's true, it'd be more of a shock, wouldn't it? Yeah. That's the whole point, isn't it? A massive pay rise. I am. Gee. I am in a bit of a wind tunnel. Yeah, the dog. I don't know where it came out. It wasn't a chain though. It came out playing hell. Just out of there. Nearly jumped out of the skin. I think it'll get better once we get past this excavator thing. I'm just sorry, me, that I can't walk to Hull. I think if I could have done that, I'd have got my kit bag and got everything I needed and just done it and come back on the bus. It's about 20 miles. So I'd have thought to myself, 3 miles an hour. About 7 hours plus half an hour break for my dinner and a couple of 15-minute breaks. I've done it in about 9 hours, I think. You know, you like walk 5 miles, have a 15-minute break, another 5 miles, half an hour's break for your dinner, another 5 miles, a 15-minute break. And when you get to Hull, find somewhere you can just sort of sit down and chill. bus home. I have actually. I was going to send me out for a walk actually just before we get to that farm where the excavations. I only get so far, and then there's about 5 miles where I can't do anything. But the track's open again from Winstead. I wish they'd do something, they'd put it all back together. You know, like that cinder track in Whitney. That would be great. That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? We don't even get as far as Patrington. Now from Patrington to Winstead, I think it's only about 3 miles. Now from Winstead, you can walk along the trackbed all the way into Hull. Well, not quite Hull. It gets you into a place called Drypool, which is in East Hull. It's a bit of a deprived area, that. But people were all right with me when I was there last time. I just think to myself, if you treat people decently, they'll treat you decently. You'd have probably had little halts and things here. And there's another drain. And that leads to a farm. So you'd have had a little halt there where the farmer would have brought up whatever he were bringing up to be loaded on to the carriage wagons or carriages or whatever. Yeah, me and Toby walked down here the other day, and he actually saw a rabbit, but it were gone. But he didn't get such a good view of it as he got with that one last night. The look on his face when he came running back, that grin. It were me panicking. There were him laughing away. Could you imagine driving a steam train in this weather? Shoveling coal onto that open fire to raise steam. God. To kill me. That's right. If we can actually get there. I know there was a station at Patrington. If you look, I don't know if you're going to see it yet. You should be able to see it. Centre of the screen, you can see the spire. That's St Patrick's Church in Patrington. We saw that before, you might remember. No, the aerial view though is terrific, isn't it? Can you imagine flying across here in a hang glider, something like that, where you're not going fast? Look at this. Yeah, so what I might do is go to Winestead. I'll scope it out first. And say go from Winestead into Edinburgh. I'll do that. Heading from Winestead is about 8 miles. So I'd most probably jump on the bus coming back. Now there's a pathway which will take you over. I think it'll take you to Patrington, I'm not sure. But I'm not going there. Look on here. There is an arrow. And that tells you there's a path up there. Although I'm not going to walk it. I might one day, but I'm not going to do it today. we done 15.21 miles today. So the wind's going to get a bit like a wind tunnel again in a minute when we go through these, go between the trees. Yeah. Yeah, that's what you'd have to do. But I'm not so sure as I want to do that. But yeah, there is a way you can get to Patrington. One of my neighbours were telling me about it before, and her husband passed away. You know the lady who were married to a former soldier? Well, both of them used to walk along here. And there's a way into Patrington, and they used to walk that way. Maybe that's what they did, eh? Walked on the side of Patrington Drain. I mean, it's not really that much of a problem. Me and Toby, we've walked from Paul by the way of Salt End into Heddon, and we've been on the Haven Drain. But it's not a problem as such. A couple of young lads on bikes. It's ideal biking, this, isn't it? Yeah, that might be you walk on the Winestead. Well, you know, you walk along the Winestead Drain. That could well be it, Guy. Them lads will come back in a bit because there's nowhere for them to go. I think next month I'm going to attempt 250,000 steps. Whether I get it or not, I don't know. But I'm definitely going to try for it. See, now there's St. Patrick's. We get a reasonable view of that now. And that's in Patrington. Yes. Well, that is very true. It is flat. Well, so far I've done 15 miles today. I think just over 15, I don't know how to look. $15.49, so about 15 and a half miles. Alright lads. Me and Tobes did 10 miles, just over 10 miles this morning. Now this, I think, is about as far as I can get. No, I might be wrong. No, I'm not wrong. This is as far as we can get. I actually carried Toby through all this the other day. We can get a bit further, and that's literally as far as we can go. The undergrowth is just too much. This was sort of as far as I got. So at this point, we're going to turn round and make our way back to Withernsea. Now from there to Winestead, I think it is possibly about 2.5 miles. Why all this has grown in, I don't know. I think possibly along here tractors still use it and people still use it. That's enabled the undergrowth. Well, I'll get back to Withernsea. I'll have done about 18.5 miles, I think. And by the time I get home, it'll be close on 19. That's basically now, this morning, I'm busy in the daytime. For a week going. such a glorious evening, isn't it? The rapeseed. We tend to all each year. Next year we'll probably have wheat or something in there, and we'll have rapeseed over here. I'm going to have to ring the old Duchess up 10 minutes before I get home, just to let her know I'm 10 minutes with, and she can put the pizza in the oven, she said. Look at the blossom, eh? I just wish my mother was still alive, because she loved all this. She'd have loved it, you know, living here. She'd have absolutely adored it. And she knew the name of every flower, every shrub, every tree. Literally, it was just something she'd always been interested in. Soybean and wheat. Ah. Yeah, I can believe that, Jack. Yeah. Oh God, yeah, the nettles. That's what I was thinking the other day. I had Toby with me. Let's see how far we can battle through. And I got to that point where we were, and I thought, well, it's going to be pointless. And I just gave up. And I thought, well, you know, it's about 7 miles a return trip, and that's well good enough for a walk. And this walk really was Toby's walk, because you know what he's like when the tide's in. He starts fretting and getting stressed and upset. So I thought it made sense to bring little fella down here. He knows it round here. And who knows, he might have seen the rabbit. Oh, God. Oh, blimey, nettles. Tell you what to do if you do get stung by a nettle. Get one of these, a dock leaf, and rub the dock leaf on the bit where you've been stung. Just rub it on as much as you can. It will stop the stinging. It's called a dock leaf. My nana taught me that when I was a kid, and I passed that on to my kids. But that, it just stops it. It just stops the stinging. What, nettles? Yeah. My mum said that. she got some before and curried them. I remember her doing it. I thought, oh, bloody hell, Mum. You don't want to be doing that. I'm telling you, it'll be nice. I didn't have any, but she said it were gorgeous, and she did it again. She did it a few times. So it's a bit like spinach, but nicer, more tasty. Well, we can see the lighthouse from here when we just get past that tree. Yeah, so that arrow on that gate post that could lead eventually to the Winestead drain. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense. And there's your lighthouse, look. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Guy. St. Pat's at the back of us. That's possibly why it's called Patrington. I never really thought of it before now, but it was possibly Patrick Town at some point, and they built St. Patrick's Church there. It's an absolutely huge church, that massive. It's more like a cathedral than a church. And when you think there wouldn't have been that many people living there, but maybe that's a bit unfair because most people lived on the land anyway. So there may be more people than what we can really imagine. You look at the countryside nowadays, people moved out, they moved into the cities. But in those days, a butterfly, I'm just trying to find him for you. There he is. Centre of the screen. Oh yeah. Jack, yeah. Nettles are bad and thistles are bad. They're nettles. They're horrible bloody things. And the thistles have like spikes on them. They're horrible too. You know, when we went at the end here, I told you the other day, me and Toby, I picked him up. I'm going to try and battle my way through it by picking Toby up. And I thought, I don't know how far this is going to go. And I gave up. I thought it's just going to take me, I thought I could probably do it. You know, I'm resolute enough to do it. But I thought, I'm holding Toby. I can't put him down. If I was on my own, I'd probably do it. And I just thought, I'm not doing it. I thought, I don't know how far this is going to go. Right, these are thistles. You can see we've got spikes on the end. They're nasty if you sit and get one of them in your bum. But I think the nettles, these things, are worse. You get stung by one of them and you're scratching and scratching and scratching. And your skin comes up. It bubbles up. You have a histamine. You get a histamine reaction. And that's why my nan always said, rub dock leaves into it, it'll go, and it did. So if you don't have any antihistamine cream, you do that, rub a dock leaf into it, and you'll be okay. Huh. Yeah, I get that. I get that, Jack. The Scottish, oh yeah, they have thistles up there, big, a lot bigger than what ours are. Ours are nothing compared to what we have up there. But then again, we have lots of stingy things up there. You want to see the mosquitoes, God. They have teeth bigger than Toby. Yeah, you will do, because you're in the same, Canada's in the same temperate zone as what we are, so you'll have the same conditions and a lot of the same things, won't you, really? In the north of Canada, you might not. You know, you get to Saskatchewan and places like that, you might not. But like where you are in the same kind of temperate zone as what we are. Same latitude and what have you. I should have been a geography teacher, me. What do you think? Well. The lighthouse is certainly getting clear now. Yeah. I didn't know that. You got a lot of acidic soil now. I didn't know that. Which means nothing will grow, as you said. You can try and neutralise it with alkaline fertiliser and nitrates and things, but potassium, but you're not going to be able to, it wouldn't be much good, would it? Mushrooms are okay. It's toadstools. But then you have got something called the magic mushroom. My son's had a mate who knew all about magic mushrooms. He now lives in Amsterdam. No, but you have to be very, very careful about stuff like mushrooms. If you like mushrooms, you're better off buying them from the shop. My mum liked them, and she knew what, that was the thing, she knew exactly what to look for. She knew what were poisonous, and she knew what we could eat. So my mum I would have trusted with stuff like that, because I knew that she knew. But I wouldn't trust anybody else. Well, we're almost back at the digger. I wish I'd have seen a rabbit. He'd have gone mad if we'd have seen a rabbit on here, wouldn't he? Oh, he'd have gone absolutely berserk. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was it. If I was to get any mushrooms, the only place I would get them from is a shop. When my mum were alive, no. My mum knew what she was actually doing with stuff like that. She knew what you could eat, what you couldn't eat. And she said the same as Guy, within a 20-minute walk, you'll never go hungry. And my mum were a vegan. She hadn't always been a vegan. When she hit about 55 or something like that, 58 maybe, she decided that she weren't going to eat meat anymore. And she knew what she was doing though. Anything like that, my mum is probably the only person I would have ever trusted. Her knowledge on things like that was absolutely phenomenal. You know, she'd have made a terrific teacher. You know, sometimes your life takes you in a different direction, like it did with my mum. That's nice, isn't it, across there, the ivy. Yeah, that dog come out of there, rushing out of it. A big German shepherd. Put the fear of God into me. I mean, I saw it was on a chain. So I tried talking to it. I was with Toby. Toby were having a go at it. This is 12 months ago. Toby was only about 6-7 months old. I'm trying to give Toby a treat and give the other dog a treat. This will take you to Holland. Not the Holland beach we go to, but the main road takes you to Hull. Holland beach is further over. see is all that stuff. I wonder what was it. I don't know. But I wonder if at some point there may have been a station. And that's been pulled down and ground up. And we use it as hardcore. I don't know though. Why would you bring all that here? Doesn't really make sense, does it? Yeah, that's good, that. I don't know, in England, too many people want the easy life. Can you get it in a microwave? And if you can't microwave it, you won't eat it. A lot of kids can't cook. A lot of, they don't grow up cooking. A lot of adults can't cook. Yeah, they'll go and get stuff from the supermarket that you can stick in a microwave, and that's it. They can make a sandwich. They can make toast. There's people here in Britain, believe it or not, they can't even fry an egg, or boil an egg. I know my mum taught us how to cook. She didn't make a big thing about it, but taught us how to look after ourselves, how to, cook the basics. If I lived on my own, could I cook for myself? Yeah. Would I cook for myself? Probably not. I'd do what everybody else does. Put it all in the microwave. But could I cook? Yeah. Would I be a gourmet chef? No. I could cook enough to keep me going. Which is fine, really. See, we're going up here. You can just imagine sitting in a 1950s diesel multiple unit on its way to Withernsea after doing a day's work in Hull. One of the Mark 1s. Something to look up. The diesel multiple unit Mark 1. We had truck engines, Leyland engines. We had two carriages, front and a back. You get to your destination, the driver would just walk round to the other side and drive it back. There were two main routes from Holderness. There was this, with Withernsea to Hull, and then there was Hornsey to Hull. Remember I showed you the station, what it's now flats and apartments, and that was a few months ago when we was in Hornsey. You remember that? And we walked a little way along the track, not far, probably about half a mile. Now that whole track, if you will, to Hull. It's now part of the Transpennine Trail, and it goes all the way from Hull to Southport. I wouldn't mind walking that, actually. I'm not going to be able to do it though. It'll probably take me about maybe, I don't know, we'll say what, I'm not going to kill myself, but we'll say 20 mile a day. It'll probably take me about 10 or 11 days. I've got to think about the old Duchess. All right, I've never had that. Frog's legs. Tuna. Chicken. Does it taste like chicken? You know, Toby will be sat at home sulking because I've gone out without him. Just when I see what... That's right. 1807. I've now done 17 mile today. So I might get up to 9. By the time I get home, I might get up to 19. There's the new houses they're building, not the ones we saw yesterday. Those are the ones we looked I look at those things, you know, the pylons carrying the electric current, and I think it sort of reminds me of that song, you know, the Wichita Lineman. You know, he's on a lonely road in his pickup and he's looking for problems that he can fix. And I think probably in America, in Wichita, you'd have loads of these cables, wouldn't you? Loads and loads, stretching for miles and miles and miles. And you got this lineman, and that's his job, looking for an overload or something like that. Truffle, yeah. People go mad over them. I mean, I've never had truffle. I'm not a great lover of mushrooms, although now and again, yeah, fried mushrooms are nice. How far we've come. Yeah, when we leave the trail, I'll show you where the station used to be, and I'll show you just what remains. It's very little. I'll show it you. We'll have to go into Aldi car park. I'll show you a little bit. That remains of Withernsea train station. If you go online, you can see pictures of it. Remember when we looked at those pictures, which have been stuck on those fences? You had Withernsea station on some of them. This would have been the crossing, the point where the two trains, one going to Withernsea and one going to Hull, would have crossed each other. So now you've got people coming home from work, and you'd have had families, because don't forget this is half term in Britain, and you'd have had families going back to Hull. Nanas, granddads, grandkids, mums, dads, kids. Uncles, aunties. It'd have been amazing, really. I often think back to the 1960s. They weren't particularly good for me in a lot of ways, but there were things that I can look back on and I treasure. The other week, about a month ago now, isn't it, a bit more, when me and my son and the grandkids were in London, we were on an underground station and I was drenched in sweat, and my mind just went back to when we first went to live in London, and I didn't bother about being too hot. I just felt like I did then. just reminded me, it's so reminiscent of all those years ago. I mean, we're talking 60 years ago now. When I went to live in London with my mum. And I can remember, you know, sort of being at this underground station. It was so hot. The smell of brake linings, you know, with the underground trains coming and slowing down. Still remember it now. Well, we're coming to the top of a railway line. We more or less going to be covered on both sides. With blossoms and trees and everything else. Still got a fair way to go. Oh, oops. Are you off, Edward? See you, Edward. Have a lovely evening anyway. Have a nice dinner and have a good evening. Yeah? I have about another, I don't know, about another half hour I think before we get home. No, maybe not, about another 20 minutes. Well, we've done 17.5 miles today. Yeah, have a good evening anyway, Edward. You know, you're getting these breezes and it feels absolutely lovely. I know when I get home tonight, I'm going to have my dinner, have a drink of tea, and I'm going to jump right in that shower. I've earned it. There's some more new houses they're building. See them trees there, and the nice mowed lawn. Now that reminds me of the back of my school in Sussex. Another butterfly, it's just gone. And it was an apple orchard. and it was owned by a former colonel, a military man. And now and then, when the apples were ripe, we'd go and nick a few. Now this colonel bloke, he'd fire his gun at us. I mean, nowadays, if you fired a rifle at somebody, you'd be in big trouble. In them days, nobody seemed to bother. He'd see us in his orchard, he'd come out with his rifle. Or his shotgun or whatever it was and fire it. He never actually hit any of us. I don't know what would have happened if he had have done. But yeah, just looking at that, it just reminded me of when I was at school. Colonel's Orchard. I suppose he could have had a bit of empathy with us rather than fire his gun at us, his rifle or whatever, shotgun or whatever it was. Why not bring a couple of crates of apples into the school and say it's for the kids? Don't come in, don't nick them. I'm going to give you some instead. That'd have been nice for us. It just saved him a lot of hassle and aggravation. Now that is on Hull Road. Those houses, you know the new houses we're building? You can see how far out it's coming. We'll go and have a walk round there at some point and just see what we can actually spot. Hiya Dan, how are you? Yeah, no, it was a warning shot to get rid of us. But that's the thing, it never really stopped us. We'd still come back and we'd still nick his apples. But, you know, you got a gang of kids, what are we going to do? Nick a couple of apples each. He had hundreds of trees. I think if it had been me, I would have took a couple of crates of apples into the school for the kids. Probably attended one of the assemblies or something like that. Told them, don't steal, just ask. We were a school for naughty boys, so I mean, not that many of us were really naughty. Well, we're coming to the end of the Withernsea Hull line. I'm just going to phone the old Duchess up. Hiya, Pat. I'm about 15 minutes from home. So I'm just going to just rung you up just to tell you. Okay, Pat. See you when I make it. Bye. Yep, she told me to ring her up so she can put the pizza on. So I've done that. So I've done my good deed. It is lovely. It is lovely, Dan. Yeah, it's at Withernsea in East Yorkshire. The birds sound absolutely brilliant. Thanks for that, Guy. Oh, right. I remember that, the dark side of the moon. Hawkwind, weren't it? I used to have a girlfriend. Oh, a long time before I met the old Duchess. And she were well into Hawkwind. Was it Hawkwind? I can't remember now. But I know she used to love that dark side of the moon. I can still remember it now. Well, we've come out of the undergrowth, look. We've got the kids' play park over there. And I'll certainly be telling Toby everybody missed him. .97 miles I've done. So 18 miles. There we go, 18 mile. Pink Floyd, yeah. Yeah, Pink Floyd, of course, yeah. Hello, love. Can I give him a treat?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, sweetheart. Everybody wants to have a look at you.
Sit down.
Oh, good girl.
That's it, good girl.
Yeah,
Yeah.
don't want it.
Huh?
Doesn't want it.
I don't want to.
Oh well.
Oh, she's fussy.
But you'll have a stroke, won't you?
Hey.
You'll have
Come
a...
on. Hey.
See you later, love. Gave her a treat and she didn't want it. There's not as strange as dogs sometimes. See, it's lovely, this park, isn't it? It really is. People say there's nothing for kids to do. It's all here. Well, there you go, folk. You remember when we came in? $18 mile. Yep. It was Floyd. She was into Floyd and she was into Hawkwind. You know, it's that long ago, I can't even remember her name. Thanks, Dan. I know it's incredible. The other day I walked 19 mile. Just over 19. I'm just very fortunate, really. I look at my Duchess, my Pat, and she struggles. It's hard work getting her to the car. We go out, she'll go out on a scooter. And yet me, I'm just lucky. Well, you know Ebden Bridge, Dan, and you know Burnley. Sometime this summer, I'm gonna walk all the way from Ebden Bridge through Eptonstall, Blackshaw Head, and the Long Causeway, right across the Pennines to Burnley. It's about 12 mile. And I'll do it all in one. I'll stop halfway after about 6 miles for something to eat, basically. Because of my diabetes, I'll have to. But other than that, I'll just keep soldiering on. But I'll find somewhere to sit down and have something to eat and drink. Well, here we are, the cop shop, what they're going to demolish. These used to be stables, apparently, at one time for the railway company, the North Eastern Railway. I did say I'd show you the remains. Hello, mate.
Are you YouTubing?
Yeah,
Who for?
me.
Who is it?
How do you mean?
I follow a lot on YouTube.
Right, you want to know who I am?
Yes.
Yes, Daryl Baker, 1692.
Right, okay. Because I follow Steve Marsh and all like that. And so
it's Daryl, D-A-R-R-Y.
you're from Withernsea. You aren't you Withernsea like that, yeah?
I live in Withernsea, yeah.
Ah, right, okay. I'll have a little look.
Yeah,
Daryl
Baker,
Baker.
one word.
Thank you.
All right, mate. All lowercase. No worry. Right, I said I'd show you the remnants, the last bit of Withernsea Station. Are you ready? Here it is. This was a platform. See how the bricks are. You see how the bricks are arranged? That was the platform. This is it. This is it, Guy. It now forms part of a police station car park. Well, this is all what's left of Withernsea railway station. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, I'd blocked you by accident and I couldn't find you again to unblock you. That was the thing, Jack. So I didn't know how to do it. So, you know, I certainly didn't block you purposely. But you know that anyway. Well, here we are. We're at the infamous Aldi. The pier towers are right down there ahead of us. Well, it's now nearly 20 to 7. Withernsea closed down for the day. Tomorrow will be really, really busy because you're going to have everybody going home. Lots of people who've come to the campsites. Are they on the way home tomorrow? Nanas, granddads, kids, parents, all making their way back to wherever they come from, be it Hull, or be it the industrial West Riding, steel towns like Rotherham, woolen districts, the woolen district like Bradford, Huddersfield. Oh, one of Toby's friends here, look. There you go. He's off. Probably under the car. There he is. It's all right, I've not got Toby with me. Don't worry, Puss. Don't worry, Puss. Another puss. It's all right. Now Toby thinks he can beat the pussycats up. Oh, great. I don't have a flat cap, no. I still don't know how I did that. I'm glad we got you. I'm glad you came back though, Jack. I really am. tell you what I'll do. I'll put my email address, I think. You know, I'll post my email address so anybody who needs it or wants it, then it's there. So we get any mishaps like that, yeah, you've got it there, haven't we? But probably won't get nothing like that'll ever happen again. Probably. I've got really, I know what I'm doing with me. My live sessions now, which going back at the beginning, I didn't really know what I were doing. Well, folk, we're back home. Enjoy yourself at the Isle of Skye, both of you, anyway. Yeah. Oh, it's raining, is it? Oh, it's not raining here. Anyhow, Jack, Dan, Guy, just want to say good night to everybody. I shall see you again tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have Toby with me. Thanks, Guy. I will enjoy. I'm going to me tea, I know that much. Enjoy your day. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for your likes, your shares, your comments, and your subscriptions. So, see you all tomorrow. Have a good time, Dan. So I'll see you later.